Spellbound, Chapter 33. Back to Cortez Cabal headquarters, where I had to help Cass with research. Lots of fun. Adam was there, but he's not really a research guy, so he mostly trundled stuff back and forth from the Cabal library. Cassandra stayed with me, and I soon wished she was the one doing the shuttling, because she just read over my shoulder and pointed out all the places where the Cabal accounts got things wrong. "Where's Adam?" she said finally. "Isn't research his job?" "That's right," Adam said as he walked in. "I'm slacking. You guys should stop paying me." "Oh, wait, you don't. Sorry, Cass, but you stuck here a little longer. Right now, I need to borrow Savannah. I have something for her." "Something more important than this?" Cassandra swept her hand across the table piled with books. "You can read just fine, Cass," Adam said. "Pull out a chair and let's get to work." Wherever Adam was taking me, it wasn't within the walls of Cortex headquarters. Something so secret that he didn't dare discuss it where they could be listening in. When he pulled up to his hotel, I was sure that was it. We walked to his door. I waved at the do not disturb tag in his lock. "Better take that out or you won't get your room clean." "I don't want it clean." He covered my eyes. "I told you it was a secret," he said when I objected. He opened the door and prodded me inside. Then he took his hand away, and I knew why he didn't want the maid service coming in. The bed had been pushed against the wall, opening up the middle of the floor. Using electrical tape, he joined symbols on the carpet. Sensors and candles and books were scattered over the tables. "A black mask," I said. "For me? You shouldn't have." I hugged him. "If I really set up a black mask, you wouldn't be hugging me. You'd be on the phone with Paige telling her I'd been possessed again." Not sure I called Paige. "Remember what you tried to do when you were possessed? That was not me. And don't remind me, I'm still creeped out." He walked to the symbols. "Okay, so take your place at the north point and we'll begin." "Begin what? Does it matter? You trust me, right?" I knelt by a sensor of vervain and lit it. Once it was going, I blew the smoke in his face. "Cut it out," he said between quarks. "I'm not possessed, okay? I was kidding about not telling you. Why, I think it would be nice if I could spring it on you without the explanation, but the ritual requires active participation." "What ritual?" "A Savannah special. I'm going to give you back your powers." I stared at him. "I'm going to," he enunciated slowly. "Give me back my powers? You can do that?" His grin was so dazzling, I swear my knees weakened. Then he robbed it away. "Sorry, got a little carried away and forgot the qualifier. I'm going to attempt to give you back your powers. I wouldn't get your hopes up if I didn't think the ritual would work, but I can't promise anything, of course." "You found the ritual?" He strolled to a stack of books on the desk and picked one up. "It starts here. An account of a family of witches in ancient Greece whose powers seem to be drying up from lack of use. When increased practice didn't help, they spent 20 years searching for a cure and finally found it here." He pointed to a ritual written in spidery strokes. Natural situation, I know, but it was a starting point. From there, I found two other cases that referenced the first. He lifted two books. Both are only partial accounts. And one, a sorcerer gave up his spellcasting in a demon pact. The other sorcerer swore he didn't, but either he was lying or tricked. They both adapted the earlier ritual. One sorcerer's worked, the other's didn't. He pushed the books aside, still not quite right, so I branched out from there. He kept going, referencing and cross-referencing accounts until my head was swimming. Finally, he turned to me. "So that's it. If this works, we'll have your powers restored in a couple of hours." I looked at the pile of books, and I couldn't imagine how much work this had taken. Then I looked at the circles under his eyes and the faint lines by his mouth, and I couldn't imagine it. "I don't know what to say," I said. "I'll settle for things in the bed if it works." He paused. "Maybe a few bears." He led me back to the ritual circle. Before we start, though, I want to say that I didn't do this because I think you need your powers back. You'll be okay without them, Savannah. Just not safe and not as happy. He looked at me. I know how much they mean to you, and I want you to be happy. I glanced at him, and I thought of what he'd done here, of all the hours he spent digging for an answer. Even when he'd been furious with me, he'd done this for me because it was what I wanted, because it would make me happy. Happy. No boyfriend had ever done anything like that for me. None had even come close. My feelings for Adam won some romantic fantasy my inner 12-year-old was clinging to. I loved him and I was never going to love anyone else the way I loved him. And if I didn't take a step, just a tiny step, and find out if this could ever possibly go anywhere, then I deserve to be alone and miserable for the rest of my life. You look like I hit you over the head with a baseball bat, Adam said. What? You think just because you pissed me off I don't want you to be happy? I shook my head dumbly. Well then, take a seat and let's get this show on the road. The longer the build-up, the bigger the letdown if it fails. I lowered myself in place on a visual circle. The case studies suggest demon blood is a better conduct than spellcaster blood for this particular ritual. Adam lowered himself to the floor. I think that's because in those cases, a demon was clearly responsible. If that's the case here, I should be able to do it. If not, though, we're calling Paige and Lucas. I haven't told them yet, because they've been busy and because, well, I've been begging off on actual investigative work by saying I need to do research. When the truth is, I've already done all I could, or I had until you got this immortality angle. He paused. That doesn't sound good, does it? But I figured I can justify it though, because having you back as a full-power investigator and fighter is worth more than a couple days of research. And now I'll stop yapping and get casting. Sorry, just a little nervous. Having you back as a full-powered investigator and fighter. While he prepared, his words kept repeating until they passed the fog. I can't do this, I said. What? I can't get my powers back. Not yet. You were saying before that there was no good reason why anyone would take them. I think there is to teach me. Teach you a lesson, you mean? No, Savannah. If there's a lesson to be learned about not counting on your powers, you've learned it. And if you're thinking this will undo the deal you made and Paula Thompson will go to jail, we'll monitor the situation and Lucas will get involved if it's not like that. I said, watch this. I took a pinch of dried herbs from a sensor and put them on the carpet. Then I concentrated until they levitated. So your powers are already coming back? That's great. But why not speed it along? They aren't coming back. I can bring them back if I work at it though. Okay, but I didn't tell you everything that happened in L.A. I explained about the two supernaturals trying to kill Cassandra and what I'd done. So you had a power flare, huh? He settled onto the floor and pulled the book over. I didn't see any of that in the accounts. Maybe this wouldn't work. Then I told him about the man in the alley. It sounds like whoever is responsible didn't drain my powers for kicks. They want me to work harder, prepare for, I don't know what. But as we know, this exposure threat has everyone on the other side paying attention too. You said it seems more likely to be a deity than a demon. Presumably then, they're just holding my power in check until I get my act together. Then if I need the power like I did with Cassandra, they'll give it back. That's possible. And it's also possible that it's a demon playing tricks and convincing me not to try getting my spells back. Believe me, I've worked out the possibilities. But right now, I think I should hold off. If I can tap into more power, that'll help. We can try your ritual later. Which would be my suggestion, except there's an expiry date. Expiry? He rose and waved for me to sit beside him on the bed. Most of the rituals that were successful were done within a week of the power loss. After that, the rate of success drops. Okay, I settled onto the bed, but I think I should wait, see how things go. A few days shouldn't make much difference. If we were talking rate of return on an investment, I say it's worth the risk, but we're talking about my powers. I turned to him. So you think? I stopped myself. That wasn't fair. If I got advice and things went wrong, He'd feel guilty, and maybe I wouldn't be able to keep myself from blaming him just a little bit. After a minute of silence, he said, "For what it's worth, I think either is a reasonable choice and neither is a sure thing. Just don't." He leaned over to catch my eye. "Don't do what you did with Leah. You were willing to sacrifice yourself to kill her. That's noble. But I don't want you being noble, Savannah. I want you to do what's right for you. If I wait and I do tap into extra power, that's good for me and everyone else, right?" I took a deep breath. "I'm going to stick to my decision. Hold off and keep working on it, and if I totally freak out, we can still do this, right? Anytime. I'll keep telling the hotel I don't need maid service and we'll leave everything the way it is." I nodded and let out a deep shuddering breath. Adam put his arms around me and I leaned against his shoulder and breathed. Just breathe. When I pulled back, I said, "I'm sorry." "For what?" "This." I gestured at the room. "You did an amazing thing for me and I turned it down. Because you have another solution. One that may turn out better." He leaned toward my ear. "As much as I wanted to give your powers back, I think you're making the right call." He pulled back and smiled, his face just a few inches from mine, and I thought I could kiss him. Just cross those 3 inches. A quick kiss on the lips, and if he just wants it to be a thank you, then he can pretend it was and we can carry on. 3 inches. Crossed it. Kiss him. Find out what happens. Only it wasn't 3 inches anymore. He was already pulling back. But I could still do it. The moment hadn't passed. Kiss him while I could pass it off as a thank you. And Adam got to his feet. "If you're really feeling guilty though, my Jeep still needs a new top." I took a moment to find a smile. "Didn't I already promise you that a bribe for not telling anyone you had to rescue me from a drunk guy at a motel?" "Shit, that's right. Switzerland then. You can buy me that trip to Switzerland." Big step up from a new convertible top. I earned it. Days of research when I could have been out and played in Elena kicking ass. Definitely worth a trip, maybe 2. He waved me to the door. "We should get back and help Aaron and Cassandra." And so the moment passed. Again. While Adam, Cassandra, and Aaron continued their research, I told Paige and Lucas about Adam's ritual and the man in the alley. They thought I made the right choice. I helped Adam for the rest of the day and spent the evening doing spell practice with Paige and Lucas. I managed a weak light spell and an even weaker energy bolt. In other words, I could see well enough to get to the bathroom in the night and could give an attacker the equivalent of a static shock. Considering I only been working at it for less than a day though, it was a good start. Baby steps. Paige said most spellcasters needed to do this at the start of their training. I was just going back and repeating the parts I skipped. Adam came by at 10 and announced that he needed a drink. Paige and Lucas were not welcome to join us because they made lousy drinking buddies the idea of a night at the bar with a couple of beers and once that hit them, sneak out to be alone together. They said they'd be working for a couple of hours yet. If they were still around when we got back, they'd give Adam a lift to his hotel and take me back to their condo. "Oh, please," I said as we made our way back to headquarters. "Nobody noticed." "You were lighting the candle with your fingertips," Adam said. "They noticed." I stopped on the corner and looked both ways. Lights smeared together in a blur. Skyscrapers swayed. I blinked and started to step off the curb. Adam put me back. Car?" Adam said as one whizzed past. "It was on the other side of the road." "No, it wasn't." "Yes, it was," I said. "Apparently you're the one who's had too much to drink. You were also the one lighting the candle with your fingertips." "Only after you started it, and only because people were looking, so I figured if we both did it, it would look like a party trick." "What else would it look like?" "I was lighting a candle, not teleporting across the room." "Ha ha, so you were lighting it." "Of course I was. I need all the practice I can get. Now I'm going to work on my energy ball. I need a target though." I gave him a sidelong look. He laughed. "I'd be a lot more worried if I thought you could hit anything smaller than a barn right now." He took my shoulders and stared me to a fountain. Does this look familiar? I squinted at it. Wooden benches and mossy rocks surrounded a round waterfall topped by two seas carved in granite. Quartet's cooperation. Oh, we're here. I knew that. I was just getting some more air. All the air in the world isn't going to help you right now, Savannah. He helped me up the steps and into the foyer. They left me in front of the wall-sized aquarium of tropical fish. I stood there, memorized by the flashing rainbow of colors while Adam talked to the desk guard. Yes, they're very pretty, aren't they? Adam said as he came up behind me. Is Lucas still here? The guard says no, but from the looks he's given us, he's 10 seconds from calling for backup to escort us to a nice warm holding cell for the night. There's no way he's sending us up to see the heir to the throne. Not in our condition, fortunately. He whipped out his security clearance pass at the same time as I pulled out mine. We both laughed. The guard at the desk buzzed someone and whispered into his phone. Don't worry, Adam said, as we stumbled past the desk. We've got our cards. Thanks for the assistance, though. I'll be sure to let Mr. Cortex know how helpful you were. We got on the executive elevator before anyone could stop us. When we reached Lucas' office, it was dark, his briefcase gone. There was a note left for us on the desk in Pedro's handwriting. Left at midnight. If you two are much later, I suggest crashing a lounge breakfast meeting at 5:30. I checked my watch. It was past 1. The lounge it is, Adam said. Fit you for the sofa. Hell no, I spent a night on the plane. I get the sofa. Excuse me. I was up half the night researching that ritual for you at dessert. We were still bickering when we reached the lounge and found the sofa's gone, Adam said. It is? Good. I was starting to think I was even drunkier than I feared. Who the hell took the sofa? I have no idea. When you find it though, it's all yours, I suspect. I headed for the armchair. We laughed and we both scrambled for it. I made it there first and turned around to sit, but he jumped in behind me and I landed in his lap instead. Out, I said. I was here first. Either you go find the sofa or you get to sleep on my lap. I twisted, poking him with my elbows and hips. That's not going to work, he said. I'm staying. I sighed and sat in his lap. He shifted until he was comfortable, then leaned me back against him and put his arms around me. I squirmed until I had my knees pulled up. My chin rested on his shoulder. Feeling better? He said. No, you have bony shoulders. I mean, in general, are you feeling better about everything? I nodded. Good. He smiled at me and he was so close. I could feel the warmth of his breath on my lips. His hand moved up and he touched my cheek, thumbs caressing it. You're drunk, aren't you? He said. Mm-hmm. Really drunk? I'm sleeping on your lap. He chuckled. Why? Are you worried I'll puke on you? No. Good, because I never puke. He laughed, his gaze dropping from mine. Okay, I get it. Get what? You're drunk. Yeah, we established that. I'm drunk too. Okay, I paused. Is this conversation going somewhere? Apparently not. We're both drunk, so nope, it's not going anywhere. He swept my hair off my shoulder, hesitated, then shook his head, face forward and tugged me tighter against him. I laid my head back on his shoulder, closed my eyes, and fell asleep.